Salutations, respected viewers. This is George from Ireland. So I'm carrying on my series about Rudolf Hess's secret flight to the United Kingdom and his attempt to negotiate peace with the UK. So there was another twist of the tale, August 1942. This is over a year after Hess arrived in the UK. The Duke of Kent, that was King George VI, youngest brother, he set off by plane to Iceland. The plane crashed very shortly after takeoff. 18 people were listed as being the plane's complement, and a rescue crew went up the mountainside to see whether anyone had survived the crash. And there were 18 bodies, most of them charred beyond recognition. Well, that was 18 people accounted for. So the rescue crew went down. Later that day, a dazed, scorched and blood-stained survivor stumbled into a nearby cottage asking help. Someone from the plane had survived. 18 corpses plus one survivor, that makes 19 people. Who was this mystery person? Why were there only 18 people on the manifest? So with a fairly small number of people on the plane, it'd be difficult to miscount. How did they miss somebody out? The Duke of Kent was amongst the dead. So the British royal family went into mourning, but not for too long, because people were being killed all the time. As the Second World War was on, it would seem overindulgent to overreact. So what else? Anyway, it's been speculated that Rudolf Hess was on board. He was being taken to Iceland en route to the United States. The goal was for him to enter peace negotiations with President Roosevelt. This theory is very likely to be specious. Anyway, the Duke of Kent is the only member of the British royal family to be killed in the Second World War. There's no evidence that Rudolf Hess was going to the USA for that purpose, or that Hess was on board the plane, that he was killed. Hess lived till 1987. And then the various Allied countries were discussing, should he be released? And indeed, the President of Germany, in his Christmas broadcast 1987, said in the Third Reich there was no mercy. And today, suggesting, are we not merciful? Should we not forgive this man after all these years and let him out to enjoy retirement in the evening of his life? But indeed it wasn't to be, and he committed suicide. But some people argue that the bruise marks on Hess's neck in 1987 showed a downward hanging, not an upward hanging. It was not suspended, so someone had a garrote behind him, strangled, pulling him down like that. I'm really not sure. Or the bruise mark didn't disappear when it should have appeared when they were doing the autopsy. That was that. And Hess's son, Adolf Rudiger Wolf Hess, he said that it was a theory his father was committed suicide, but really he was assassinated, and blah blah blah. We may never get to the bottom of it. But the day before Hess flew to the UK, he'd had a 2-hour meeting with Hitler. Only two, the only two people in the room were those two. No notes were taken. So what was said, we don't know. So the very next day, Hess flew to the United Kingdom. Was he ordered to go to the UK by Hitler? Or did he go without Hitler ordering him? Was he tricked into believing Hitler wanted him to go? So from Hitler's perspective, if they could have peace with the United Kingdom, then they'd have a better chance of defeating the Soviet Union. So perhaps he was ordered or fooled into thinking that was happening. What do I think is most likely? I think it's more likely Hitler did order him to do this, to fly to the UK. Hitler was right finding the wrong. War was not particularly anti-British, thought the United Kingdom would parley, and thought that Churchill was deeply unpopular, saying, oh, he's controlled by a Jewish clique and all that kind of thing. And what was the loss? Just one man. Maybe Hess was not in the loop because the British don't seem to have got any valuable information out of him. So he could easily be sacrificed. So Hess was a bit of a fool, and he was introducing Hitler at the Nuremberg rallies, was just blindly loyal, wasn't just playing along cynically as some of the Nazis were. And that would probably explain why Hess's family were not penalised in any way for doing this. It would meet Hitler's objectives if he could get the UK to make peace. And it's very likely that some people in government circles did want him there, thought we could at least explore the possibility of making peace rather than fighting this unwinnable war.